What is going on, guys? Today in this video I'm going to show you how to upgrade the firmware on your Fuji X-T3 to version 3.20 coming up after this. What is up, guys? My name is Nelson. On this channel I do photography and tech-based tips, tricks, and tutorials, so if you're new here, please consider subscribing. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check to see what firmware version we have on our camera currently. And to do that, you're going to go ahead and hit this display back button, and then you're going to turn the power on and keep holding that display back button. And you'll see here we are on version 3. All right, guys, just some things to note here. You're going to want to have a fully charged battery, and you're going to want to format the memory card. And in doing so, you will lose any information you have in your memory card. So make sure to save any files that you have on that memory card before you format. So go ahead and turn the camera back off, turn it back on again, and we are going to format the memory card. So go ahead and hit Menu, and then scroll all the way down to the wrench icon on the bottom, and then hit Over, and you're going to select User Setting, and you're going to click on Format, and I have mine in slot 1, so I'm going to hit OK for slot 1. Erase all data on memory card. You're going to hit up and hit OK. And it's formatting the memory card. All right, now we're going to remove the memory card and take it over to the PC. And I'm going to show you how to download and update this firmware. All right, now that I have formatted my memory card, I'm going to insert it into my SD card reader. Keep in mind that the drive letter will be different, more than likely, on your system. Go ahead and minimize this window. What I simply did was went out to a Google search and typed in Fuji X-T3 Firmware Update and clicked on the firmware for X-T3 from Fujifilm Global. Now I want to briefly read to you guys the detail of this particular update. And keep in mind, if you are coming from an even older version, even older than version 3.10, that there are going to be additional changes to the camera. And I will include a link in the description below to what those changes are. So going from version 3.10 to version 3.20, we get enhanced autofocus, improving the tracking performance of the eye autofocus frame, making it easier to attain accurate autofocus on the eyes, improving face detection performance when the faces of different sizes within the same frame, making it easier to attain accurate eye autofocus, improving autofocus capability on a foreground subject even when there is a mixture of foreground and background subjects within an AF frame, causing the foreground subject to go out of focus, e.g. when shooting flowers against a busy background. And we are getting an increase to 9,999 pictures within a single folder, whereas the limit before was just under 1,000. Also, there were some issues when shooting movies where there was some focus hunting at minimum aperture, which has been fixed, and a black line which sometimes would appear at the bottom of the center. And, of course, some fixes for minor bugs. Now, what you're going to do is scroll down from here, and just under the license agreement, you will see I agree, begin download. Go ahead and read this license agreement if you so desire. On the next page, you will click begin download again. And it will download the FWUP0019 DAT file, which is approximately 47.7 megabytes in size. I saved mine to my downloads folder, so I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to open my folder that I had up, which is the root of my formatted SD card. And I am going to go up to my downloads, and I'm going to highlight this FWUP0019.dat, and I'm going to cut him. And I'm going to go back to my removable disk, and I'm going to paste it to the root of the SD card. Now let's go take this and stick it back in the camera, and I will show you how to complete this firmware. Now that the file is on my memory card, we're going to remove it from the memory card reader, and we're going to go ahead and stick it back in the camera. Now, just as we did before when we checked the firmware version, I'm going to hold down the display back button while turning the camera on. Now you'll notice here on the very top it says firmware upgrade. Again, I want to make it clear that you do need to have a fully charged battery for this process, and it does take about 90 seconds, so make sure not to touch the camera during this process. So go ahead and click on Firmware Upgrade, and you're going to select the item. Now, I don't have a lens on this body. If there was a lens on here, there would be another option to select lens, but there isn't, so I'm going to choose body. We are going from version 3 to version 3.20. Go ahead and hit up and go ahead and hit OK. Do not open battery cover nor turn off this camera. When the lens is attached, never remove the lens. Go ahead and click OK. And now it's processing. All right, the firmware upgrade has completed. Turn off the camera now. Go ahead and turn it back on again. And we're going to format that memory card one more time. So go down to the gear icon, go to User Setting, click on Format, whatever slot your memory card is in, hit up to confirm, and hit OK. And now the memory card is ready for you to use again. Well, guys, I hope you found that content useful. If you did, please do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, make sure to hit that bell icon for future notifications.